My beloved child, come close to me tonight. I know the hours feel longer now. I know the house is quieter than it used to be. I know there are days when the phone does not ring, when the chair across from you stays empty, when the silence in the room feels louder than any noise ever could. But hear me clearly. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not a name that slipped off a list somewhere. I see you right now, in this exact moment, wherever you are sitting, however tired your eyes have grown. I have never once looked away from you. Do you feel unseen today? It was never because I stopped watching. It was always because I was watching so closely that I knew exactly when you needed to hear these words. Not because you did something to earn my attention, but because my attention was never something you had to earn in the first place. You have had it since before you took your first breath, and you will have it long after this season ends. Think of every morning you have opened your eyes and simply kept going. No one clapped for that. No one wrote it down anywhere. But I saw it. I saw the quiet courage it took to make the coffee, to sit by the window, to face another day when your heart felt tired. That kind of courage does not go unnoticed by me. It never has. I have been collecting every small act of faith you have shown, the way a father keeps every drawing his child ever made, even the ones that seem plain to everyone else. You may think your days have grown small. But nothing done in faith is ever small in my eyes. I know what it is like to feel passed over. I know what it is like to be the one people forget to call, the one whose name slips from the invitation list without anyone meaning any harm by it. I know, and I want you to hear this clearly. I have never once forgotten your name. It is written on my hand. Even when the world grows quiet around you, I have not grown quiet toward you. My voice has never stopped speaking your name with tenderness. You simply have to slow down enough to hear it. You may look back at your life and wonder where the years went. The children who grew up and moved away. The friends who passed on before you. The plans that changed course more times than you expected. And in the quiet, you may wonder if it all meant something. I tell you now, none of it was wasted. Every year, every decade, every ordinary Tuesday you lived through was seen by me and counted as precious. It was never a story of decline. It was always a story of depth being added to you, layer by layer, season by season. Not because the world tells you that youth is what matters, but because I built you to grow richer with time, not smaller. Your wisdom did not fade with your years. It grew. Do you wonder if you still matter? You matter more than you know, because the years you carry are years I walked beside you through, and I do not walk beside things that do not matter to me. There were seasons when you felt certain no one truly saw the sacrifices you made. The nights you gave up sleep to care for someone else. The years you put your own dreams aside so that someone you loved could chase theirs. I saw every one of those sacrifices, and I have never forgotten a single one. Think about all you have survived. The losses that should have broken you but did not. The nights you thought would never end but somehow did. Every one of those seasons shaped something in you that a shorter, easier life never could have shaped. You are not what the world calls old. You are what I call seasoned. You are what I call trusted. I do not hand deep understanding to someone who has not walked through fire, and you have walked through more fire than you give yourself credit for. Every wrinkle on your face tells a story of a day you kept believing when it would have been easier to stop. Every gray hair marks a year you chose faith over fear, even when fear seemed reasonable. I do not see decline when I look at you. I see a life fully lived, fully fought for, fully mine. So let go of the idea that your best chapter has already been written. I am the author, and I promise you, I am not finished with the story. A book does not lose its value once it reaches its final chapters. If anything, the final chapters are often the ones a reader remembers most, because that is where everything the story has been building toward finally comes together. Your life is no different. The chapters you are living now are not the leftover pages. They are some of the most important ones I have written for you. Some nights the loneliness sits heavy in your chest. Maybe you have buried someone you loved. Maybe your children are far away and busy with their own lives. Maybe the friends who used to call have grown quiet themselves. I know. I have counted every one of those long evenings. But I did not bring you this far to leave you now. This loneliness is not the end of your story. It is a chapter, and I am already writing what comes next. It was never abandonment. It was always an invitation to draw nearer to me, closer than you have ever come before. Not because I wanted you to suffer in silence, but because in the quiet is where I speak the clearest, and I have been waiting for you to hear me. You do not have to fill every silence with worry. You can fill it with my presence instead. I know some of you have learned to keep the radio on just so the house does not feel so still. I know some of you talk to photographs on the wall because it feels better than talking to no one at all. I do not think less of you for that. I think of how much love you still carry, love that has nowhere to go but still wants to be given. Give some of that love to me tonight. I will receive every bit of it. There will be evenings when the television is off, the house is still, and it feels like the whole world has moved on without you. In those very evenings, I am closer to you than the air you breathe. I have never required noise to be near you. I am not waiting for you to be surrounded by people before I show up. I am already here. So the next time the silence feels too heavy, do not reach for distraction first. Reach for me. Speak to me the way you would speak to an old friend, because that is exactly what I am to you. I know the ache of an empty house. I know what it is to set the table out of habit and then remember there is only one plate needed now. I do not dismiss that pain, and I do not ask you to pretend it does not hurt. I only ask you to let me sit with you in it, because that is what I have always wanted to do. Loneliness feels like proof that you have been left behind. But I tell you, it is not proof of that at all. It is proof that you loved deeply enough for the absence to matter this much. That love was never wasted, and it is not gone. It has simply changed shape, and I am holding what remains of it close to my heart alongside you. Your knees may ache climbing the same stairs they once ran up without thought. Your hands may tremble a little more than they used to. Your eyes may need more light to read the words on a page. I see all of it, and none of it changes how I feel about you. It was never a sign that your value was fading with your strength. It was always a reminder that your worth was never rooted in your strength to begin with. Not because a strong body earns my love, but because my love was never something a body could earn or lose. It is fixed on you, unmoving, the same today as it was 60 years ago. Are you afraid of what tomorrow's body will look like? Do not be. I am not finished with you. A slower step does not mean a smaller purpose. I have watched you push through pain that others never saw. I have watched you get up on the mornings your body begged you to stay in bed. That is not weakness, beloved. That is strength wearing a quiet disguise, and I see straight through it. Your body is aging, yes. But your spirit is not aging with it. Your spirit is the same one I knew before you were ever born, and it does not wrinkle, and it does not grow tired the way flesh does. That part of you is eternal, and it is thriving even on the days your body struggles. The doctors can measure your body. They cannot measure your soul, and it is your soul I am most concerned with. Your soul is not slowing down. It is growing brighter with every year you walk closer to me. So do not let a diagnosis or a hard day convince you that you are fading. You are not fading. You are being refined, and refined things always shine brighter, not dimmer. Even gold must pass through fire before it becomes valuable enough to be called treasure. I have never wasted a single hardship you have walked through. Every one of them was shaping you into something the fire alone could produce, something soft years could never have made you. You may think your best days of usefulness are behind you. That the world has moved on to younger hands and louder voices. But I did not create you to sit on a shelf once you turn 60, or 70, or 80. I created you with a purpose that does not expire. It was never true that retirement meant the end of meaning. It was always true that this season holds a different kind of purpose, quieter, deeper, and just as needed. Not because you must prove your usefulness through busyness, but because your presence alone, your prayers alone, your years of lived faith alone, still shape the world around you more than you know. I have used the prayers of quiet, unseen people to change entire families. I have used a single faithful grandmother, praying alone in her kitchen, to turn the course of a grandchild's life decades later. You may never see the fruit of your prayers in this lifetime, but I promise you, I do not let a single one fall to the ground unused. A phone call to a grandchild. A prayer whispered for a stranger. A story told to someone who needed to hear it. These are not small things to me. These are the very things I treasure most. The world measures usefulness in output, in speed, in how much you can produce in a day. I do not measure it that way. I measure it in love given, in patience shown, in faith kept even when it was hard to keep. By that measure, you are more useful now than you have ever been. Someone out there needs the wisdom only your years could have given you. Someone needs to hear you say that you made it through, because if you made it through, they can too. Do not underestimate what your life still has to say to the people around you. Even the smallest kindness you offer today ripples further than you will ever see this side of heaven. A kind word to a tired cashier. A note written to a grandchild. A prayer said quietly for a neighbor you barely know. I use these things. I have always used the small and the quiet far more than the world ever notices. So do not measure your days by how much you accomplish. Measure them by how much love passed through you, because that is the only measurement that lasts forever. There is a woman somewhere who still remembers a kind word you gave her decades ago. There is a man somewhere who still carries a lesson you taught him without even realizing you were teaching. Your life has planted more seeds than you will ever be able to count, and many of them are still growing today, far from your sight, but never far from mine. So tonight, beloved child, set down the worry. Set down the fear of being forgotten, of being a burden, of running out of time. None of that was ever the truth about you. It was never true that you were too old to be loved deeply. It was always true that you are loved exactly as you are, right now, in this very moment. Not because of what you have accomplished, but because you are mine, and that was decided long before you ever had anything to prove. Close your eyes if you need to. Breathe. Let me carry what feels too heavy tonight. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And you never will be. Let every worry about tomorrow rest tonight. I am already in tomorrow, preparing what you need before you even know you need it. I have never once failed to show up for you, not on your hardest day, not on your quietest night, not in this very moment. You do not need to have all the answers. You do not need to fix what feels broken by morning. You only need to rest in knowing that I am here, I am near, and I have not, and will not, forget you. You have carried heavy things for a long time now, and I know how tired your arms have grown from carrying them. Tonight, hand them to me. Not because you failed to carry them well, but because you were never meant to carry them alone in the first place. Let me carry what is left of tonight's weight, so you can simply rest. There is nothing you need to prove to me before you rest. There is no performance required, no perfect prayer, no flawless faith. Just come as you are, tired and honest, and let that be enough, because to me, it always has been. Wherever you are as you hear these words, whether sitting in the quiet of your kitchen or lying in bed as the night settles in, know that you are covered. Know that you are held. Know that the years behind you are not wasted and the years ahead of you are not empty. I am the same God who was with you at the beginning of your story, and I will be the same God who is with you at the very end of it, and every ordinary day in between. You have never once walked alone, even on the days it felt that way. So breathe out the fear tonight. Breathe in the peace I am offering you. Whatever tomorrow holds, you will not face it without me, and whatever today has taken from you, I am ready to restore in ways you cannot yet imagine. This is not the end of your story, beloved. This is simply where the next beautiful chapter begins. If these words brought you comfort tonight, take a moment to sit quietly and let them settle in your heart. Say a small prayer of thanks. And if this channel has been a place of peace for you, consider staying a little longer, subscribing, and coming back tomorrow night. I will be here, and so will these words, waiting for you.